Article 26, freedom to manage religious affairs subject to public order, morality, and health. Every religious denomination or any section thereof shall have the right. Clause A, to establish and maintain institutions for religious and charitable purposes. Clause B, to manage its own affairs in matters of religion. Clause C, to own and acquire movable and immovable property. And Clause D, to administer such property in accordance with law. Article 27, freedom as to payment of taxes for promotion of any particular religion. No person shall be compelled to pay any taxes, the proceeds of which are specifically appropriated in payment of expenses for the promotion or maintenance of any particular religion or religious denomination. Article 28, freedom as to attendance at religious instruction or religious worship in certain educational institutions. Clause 1, no religious instruction shall be provided in any educational institution wholly maintained out of state funds. Clause 2, nothing in Clause 1 shall apply to an educational institution which is administered by the state but has been established under any endowment or trust which requires that religious instruction shall be imparted in such institution. Clause 3, no person attending any educational institution recognized by the state or receiving aid out of state funds shall be required to take part in any religious instruction that may be imparted in such institution or to attend any religious worship that may be conducted in such institution or in any premises attached thereto unless such person, or if such person is a minor, his guardian has given his consent thereto. Cultural and educational rights. Article 29, protection of interest of minorities. Clause 1, any section of the citizens residing in the territory of India or any part thereof having a distinct language, script, or culture of its own shall have the right to conserve the same. Clause 2, no citizen shall be denied admission into any educational institution maintained by the state or receiving aid out of state funds on grounds only of religion, race, caste, language, or any of them. Article 30, right of minorities to establish and administer educational institutions. Clause 1, all minorities, whether based on religion or language, shall have the right to establish and administer educational institutions of their choice. Clause 1A, in making any law providing for the compulsory acquisition of any property of an educational institution established and administered by a minority referred in the clause 1, the state shall ensure that the amount fixed by or determined under such law for the acquisition of such property as such as would not restrict or abrogate the right guaranteed under that clause. Clause 2, the state shall not, in granting aid to educational institutions, discriminate against any educational institution on the ground that it is under the management of a minority, whether based on religion or language. Article 31, omitted by the Constitution 44th Amendment Act 1978. Saving of certain laws. Article 31A, saving of laws providing for acquisition of estates, etc. Clause 1, notwithstanding anything contained in Article 13, no law providing for Subclause A, the acquisition by the state of any estate or of any rights therein, or the extinguishment or modification of any such rights, or subclause B, the taking over of the management of any property by the state for a limiting period, either in the public interest or in order to secure the proper management of the property, or subclause C, the amalgamation of two or more corporations either in the public interest or in order to secure the proper management of any of the corporations, or subclause D, the extinguishment or modification of any rights of managing agents, secretaries, and treasurers, managing directors, directors or managers of corporations, or of any voting rights of shareholders thereof, or subclause E, the extinguishment or modification of any rights acquiring by virtue of any agreement, lease, or license for the purpose of searching for or winning any mineral or mineral oil, or the premature termination or cancellation of any such agreement, lease, or license, shall be deemed to be void on the ground that it is inconsistent with, or takes away, or abridges any of the rights conferred by Article 14 or Article 19, provided that where such law is a law made by the legislature of a state, the provisions of this article shall not apply thereto unless such law, having been reserved for the consideration of the President, has received his assent. Provided further that where any law makes any provision for the acquisition by the state of any estate, and where any land comprised therein is held by a person under his personal cultivation, it shall not be lawful for the state to acquire any portion of such land as is within the ceiling limit applicable to him under any law for the time being in force, or any building or structure standing thereon, or appurtenant thereto, unless the law relating to the acquisition of such land, building, or structure provides for payment of compensation at a rate which shall not be less than the market value thereof.